best fighter in the world. He is known for his signature technique called the Devil's Kick, a fast and deadly kicking style capable of defeating even the toughest opponents. One day, he receives a letter from a client who wants him to kill a prominent kung fu master named Wei, offering a considerable sum for his services. Wasting no time, Thunder goes to see Wei and challenges him to a fight. Wei offers double the money for his life, but Thunder refuses because despite being a fugitive, he has high standards regarding his work. The fight begins and a master like Wei proves weak against Thunder, who demonstrates incredible footwork and defeats the opponent in a matter of minutes. Next, we see the best martial arts training center in the city run by a master named Wang and his disciple Professor Kai. The students fear Wang, but none of them fear Kai. The most notorious of all the students is Wang's own son, Fred, who provokes Kai and ridicules the others. When Kai notices what is happening, he berates Fred for being a spoiled brat and taking advantage of his father's position. He decides to resolve the conflict with a fight. Kaier, because although he is a teacher, he is not even half as good as Fred, who has a natural talent for martial arts lacking only the proper discipline. Later that day, Freddy is with his friends at the market planning to prank people as usual. He uses an eel to scare a girl and make her jump on him. But he is caught by the girl's mother, who is also a master of kung fu. The woman is far better than any opponent Fred has ever faced. He is given a lesson before realizing he cannot defeat her and flees. Luck was not in Fred's favor that day, because on his way back home, he sees a guy named Jerry bothering a poor vendor and refusing to pay the correct amount. Freddy confronts the bully and beats him in a fight to make him pay the vendor. Before leaving, he warns Jerry to stay out of his sight if he values his life. That evening, he returns home and sees the girl he pranked earlier and her mother with his father. Fred tries to ignore them, but his father calls him to introduce him to the guests. It turns out that they are his aunt and cousin who have come to visit from another town. She tells a good story about her son's mischief that puts Freddy in trouble. Just as he is about to be punished, they are interrupted by a landowner named Lee, Jerry's father, who is furious with Fred for hitting his son. Jerry is also brought before Master Wang, covered in bandages from all the injuries inflicted on him. Lee does not want an apology but wants Freddy to be punished for his crimes. Wang takes a stick to hit Freddy but is prevented by his tent. She asks the victim's friends to punish Fred in the way he prefers, but they can only land 10 blows on him and he cannot retaliate between attacks. One of Jerry's friends steps forward confidently but does not realize that even if Fred cannot counterattack, he can defend himself. These first blows are useless because Fred manages to deflect each one. Eventually, the 10 attacks end and Fred is still standing without serious injury. When the opponent attempts an additional attack, Fred knocks him away with a single blow. Lee and his friends must pick up Jerry and return home in shame, but Master Wang's anger has not yet abated. From the following day onwards, he gives Fred a series of brutal punishments. He is forced to squat with bowls on his head and shoulders for hours every day. However, Fred and his friends find several ways to circumvent the punishment. Master Wang discovers this and becomes fed up with his son's lack of discipline. Deciding to take drastic action, he calls his brother to a legendary kung fu master named Sam, best known for his drunken style of kung fu and unbeatable when drunk. Wang believes that under his care, even someone like Freddy will start taking life seriously. Until he arrives, Fred is kept in the outhouse as punishment. His friend saves him and reveals that Master Sam is no ordinary person. He tortures his students so much that they become unrecognizable. At the end of the training, as soon as he arrives, Fred can say goodbye to his freedom and peace. Hearing all the horrible things Sam has done, Freddy does not want to meet him anymore and runs away, ending up in a restaurant at the end of the day. Since he is penniless, he tricks a man into buying him a meal, but the man turns out to be the owner of the restaurant. His minions start a fight with Fred for trying to trick them. In the same restaurant, Master Sam is enjoying a meal. He recognizes Fred and helps him fight the minions. Fred thanks the stranger for his help. As they chat, he starts insulting Master Sam without recognizing that it is the same man. After insulting him as much as he wants, Freddy stops and asks the stranger's name. Upon discovering that he is the master, Freddy's face changes color. He tries to run away, but that doesn't work. But he tries to fight Sam and gets a lesson. From the next day, his training begins and his first task is to repeatedly transfer water from one huge pot to another. He looks for the right moment and ends up falling into a deposit. When Sam comes to his aid, he is tricked and trapped there. Fred then flees and rests in an abandoned building. The place turns out to be the hideout of the dangerous assassin Thunderleg. He orders Fred to leave, but without knowing the assassin's identity, Fred refuses. As a result, Thunderleg beats and humiliates him. He is about to kill him but stops himself because killing a mere weakling like Fred would damage his reputation. Freddy's life is saved, but he has never been more ashamed. Rage turns into a desire to get revenge on Thunderleg, and for that, he needs to train. He returns to Sam demanding an apology and begging for his help. Sam accepts him back, giving him the last chance to prove his worth. The first step in training is to increase the strength of his arms, which is done by Sam tying sticks to his hands and using him as a puppet. After training all day, Fred has difficulty using chopsticks at dinner. He doubts whether he will ever be as strong as Thunder, but as the days go by, he feels his arm gaining strength. The first quarter of training ends when he manages to crack nuts with his fingers. So, one day, master and student go to a local betting area to gamble. Sam is an experienced gambler with very sharp eyes. He wins every round and earns a lot of money to the annoyance of his opponents. They are interrupted by a bald man who thinks he can beat Sam. He bets all the money on the last round, but the man cheats to win. Upon being proven a fraud, he panics and starts blaming Sam. Fred challenges him to a fight thinking it would be an easy win, but the bald man reveals that he has been trained in skull-style kung fu and has a powerful head. He dominates Fred in the first half of the fight, but Fred picks up a hammer and beats the guy in the end. Sometime later, Master Sam finds himself without his favorite drink and asks Fred to go get some from a restaurant. However, he eats a large meal with the money and dilutes the alcohol with water, assuming Sam won't notice the difference. Elsewhere, the bald guy brings the Bamboo Master to beat Sam up for what he did earlier. The Bamboo Master has his staff, but Sam lacks his greatest source of power, which is alcohol. Fred arrives right on time, but Sam instantly recognizes that the alcohol is diluted. As a result, both of them fail to fight the Bamboo Master, so he decides to run away. That evening, Fred now. He was only learning the basics of drunk kung fu techniques. Now that he's mastered the basics, he'll need to learn the more important parts. The duo then drink themselves to the point of being completely drunk, where an ordinary person can barely walk with so much alcohol in their system. Sam can perform the techniques of all 7 kung fu masters and learns about the masters and their strengths and weaknesses. After training for hours, he finally starts to get the hang of the complicated techniques. He is also much more disciplined than before and takes training more seriously. One day, the landowner L goes to see Master Wong demanding that he sell his land. Wong knows that Lee wants to misuse the land by using it as a coal mine. Lee even offers him 20% of the profit, but Wong evicts him. Elsewhere, Thunderleg receives a letter from a client, the sender Ed Lee, who wants him to assassinate Wong. Thunderleg accepts the task and prepares to go to town. Meanwhile, Fred is on his way home with alcohol when he meets the Bamboo Master. He recalls how he and Sam were humiliated by the man and decides to get revenge. He taunts the man, prompting him to make the first attack. The fight seems evenly matched until Fred drinks alcohol. When he is drunk, no one can fight him, not even the popular Bamboo Master. He swaggers in an almost hilarious manner before stealing 2 large jars of his wine. However, upon arriving home, he is shocked to find that Sam is missing. He finds a letter where the master thanks him for believing in his teachings. He says that Fred has learned everything there is to learn about drunk kung fu. Therefore, he has completed his task and is leaving. Back at the training center, a man runs there in a panic and reveals that Lee and his people are taking the land by force. An enraged Wong goes to teach them a lesson but finds no one. It turns out that the warning was a ruse by Thunderleg to leave Wong alone. Thunderleg is especially motivated by the battle because he is always looking for a stronger opponent. He believes that Wong is a perfect father for him and his death will elevate Thunderleg's reputation. The fight begins and the two match each other in strength and technique for a while. But when Thunderleg decides to use the Devil's Kick, even the mighty Wong is defeated. He is knocked to the ground and is seconds away from being killed when one of his disciples brings Freddy. His blood boils at the sight of his injured father. He prepares to fight the opponent in Pong's place. Thunderleg remembers him from the time he was humiliated. To the assassin, it is a joke because he thinks Fred is the same person who ran away with his tail between his legs last time. At that moment, Sam arrives on the battlefield to Freddy's delight. Thunderleg freezes in shock, knowing what Master Eve is capable of. It turns out he's the only person the deadly assassin is afraid of, but that assures me he won't interfere in the fight. Sam wants the duel to be decided solely between his student and Thunder. The fight starts off intensely and Fred, using the style he's learned, deflects all of Thunder's brutal attacks. The opponent becomes extremely frustrated and makes a fatal mistake that gives Fred a decisive advantage. In the end, he uses his enhanced arm strength to break Thunder's blow and defeats him completely. Finally, Freddy stands as the great victor and his father finally